What's up, guys? It's Parallax Abstraction, and welcome to PXA Peeks at Road Redemption. So, you may have seen a video I posted a little while ago of a similarly titled game called Road Rage, and that ended up just being a raw VOD of the research I did of that game, because, well, that game was bloody terrible. But the reason I was interested in it is it was pitched as a spiritual successor to Road Rash, which is a fantastic motorcycle combat racing game from around the Genesis era that people have been clamoring for some kind of modernization of for years and years and years. But because EA owns it, that's basically never going to happen. Also, that game was fairly simplistic, and it would be hard, I think, to make a full-fledged game out of it in this day and age. Road Rage said it was that, and it's awful. It's basically a shovelware product. You shouldn't buy it. You shouldn't play it. And that can be demonstrated if you go and watch that VOD where I get increasingly hilariously, well, ragey towards it. But during that stream, this game was pointed out to me. So this was actually a Kickstarted title. It comes to us from a couple of teams called Pixel Dash Studios and EQ Games. And while it also proclaims to have very heavy Road Rash inspirations, it's also a roguelite. And I was like, huh, that's a cool idea. And probably a pretty neat way in order to expand on the Road Rash formula and take it in a modern direction. So I requested code, wanted to check it out, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got some rough edges, and you can definitely tell in spots that I think their Kickstarter budget got a little skimpy, but it's got some cool ideas in here. So when you start off, you see you can play with up to 4 local players. I have not had a chance to do that. I think that would be really cool, but we haven't been able to do that as yet. There is an online mode as well that I won't be able to show you because nobody's playing it. It's also kind of a bare bones competitive mode that, to be honest with you, I would have preferred they left out to focus more on polishing up the campaign aspect. So we won't be talking about that. So when you start off here, you see there's a bunch of different bikes here with different statistics that you can pick. A lot of them have to be unlocked. Some of them have very high requirements, which is kind of a bummer. I'm not a big fan of gating stuff off like that. And as you can see, you also have a ton of different riders, which have different starting weapons as well as different statistics. So usually either boosts or nerfs to certain stats, or in other things here, you can see like this guy here, only decapitations give HP, nitro, or cash. We're going to get into that. He also has no skill tree. And this guy here can't heal, things like that. It's a neat variety and really ups the challenge, which I think is very cool. But I'm going to start with the generic guy here to give you an idea what happens. So here's the intro. This is one of the places where you can see that the budget went a little thin. It's just text over this weird scrolling scene. You're in a world that's not really post-apocalypse, but it's pretty wrecked up. It is still functional, but it's not in great shape. You're a guy representing a biker gang. You are trying to catch a guy who has an insane bounty, and you have to go through multiple gang territories in order to get there. And that's basically what it is. The story's pretty threadbare, but the gameplay is really what you're here for, and that's where this game shines in a lot of ways. So you can see right there, it says it's randomizing. So yes, indeed, it is a roguelite in that the tracks that you will play on are randomized at the start, which is cool. I like that. That's very neat. And you see you've got these 3 different territories here. So these are 3 different biker gangs with 3 different sets of abilities, if you will. And you will go through, there are multiple missions in each one of these areas as you progress, and you have randomized objectives. So some of them are races. Some of them are this one where we're supposed to not let targets escape. We have to kill a certain number of guys. Other ones are just outrun the cops so that the cops can't kill you. You know, others are, well, there are boss fights in this as well. And as you can see there's Road Rash, right? Yeah, you whack a guy with a friggin' pipe and yo. So yeah, and that's sort of how this progresses. They are all variations on a theme. They either are missions about racing or killing dudes, but you know, this is a Road Rashy type title, and that's what it should be. And you have various different weapons that you can play. So you have blunt weapons, which for me is a pipe to start with. Using the D-pad, I am playing with an Xbox One controller. You can play this with keyboard and mouse if you want, though it is very, very preferable to play with a controller, in my humble opinion. So you see here, by pressing on the D-pad, you can choose your different weapons. So you have a blunt weapon, which is much better against enemies with helmets, or at least getting the helmets off of them. And there is the blade, or a blade-type weapon. So you see I got through that one really quick there. The blade-type weapons will take out unhelmeted guys much more quickly and can also get you a decapitation bonus. Yes, you do get a bonus for decapitating fools in this. There's also guns and explosives, which you'll see as we get going here. So once you complete your objective, here you go. Now, the interesting thing is, if you fail a mission, it's not game over. If you fail a mission, you will lose some health, but you get to continue on. And there are ways to earn your health back fairly easily, actually, which is kind of cool. So after each mission here, you get to take the money that you earned and spend it on upgrades. Now, these particular upgrades are only for the run that you're on. So, for example, here, Lucky Rabbit's Foot gets you more cash. So you get cash, nitro, which is the ability to boost, and sometimes health off of different enemies that you kill. That's how you get yourself recharged. So you can also give yourself, if you're low on health, you can give yourself recovery. You can also boost your, see, here's 20%. You can boost your health gain. And I spent everything there, and off we go. So that's it for that particular thing. There is permanent progression in this as well, which is why it's a roguelite, but we will get into that later. So you see, here's one here. This is a race. And you see the objective is to finish third or better. So you don't have to win necessarily, which is also nice. A lot of these objectives, you don't necessarily have to always be the best to win. And as you can see here in the maps, there are shortcuts you can take as well, which depending on the mode are sometimes to your benefit and sometimes not. So you do want to pay attention to that. And you see you can do crazy jumps like this, and by double tapping the accelerator, there you go, there's the nitro, which puts you ahead, and as you can see, it wears off. But you will get some of that back by, see, I got 20 there by having a close call with a car on the road, and in this case, I take guys out, and I'm gaining back both health, cash, and nitro. So that's sort of how you earn stuff. It's fairly easy that way. And you also have, you see there's a crit meter down there, so when I get enough hits, that crit meter will slowly start to build up. When it's fully charged, I can press and hold the button, the attack button down, which will have an attack that takes longer to execute, but will basically one-shot anyone. So here you go. So, see, I used it on that guy there. Oh, God! And you see I got hit by a car there, but that doesn't mean I'm dead. That just means I took some health damage, and I respawn, and I lose position as a result of that. So, this game gets very, very hard later, especially when enemies also learn how to use guns and explosives. But it doesn't... it's not a one-shot-and-you're-out type deal. It's not that brutal. But it is a run-based game, and like most roguelikes, you can have runs that are very much better than other runs. I have had runs where I've gotten my ass kicked in like one level, and I have had another run when I was actually doing some of my research today where I almost beat the game. Now, you see here, I'm going to lose this one because I'm in 4th place. Oh, I'm in 3rd. Oh, I made it. So if I lost that, what would happen was I would lose 25% health, but I would get to continue on. And that's what's cool. I like the fact that you don't have to win every event in order to progress. That would be very, very frustrating. Now, you see I didn't earn much money from that because I came in 3rd. I would have earned $1,100 if I came in 1st. So you were still incentivized to get to do the best you possibly can, but you don't have to survive, which I really like that. I think it's a really smart idea. So here's something I can spend $250 and get half my nitro back. Could be helpful. Don't always necessarily need it. Sometimes you might want to save your money. So here's another race mission. There is a decent amount of variety in the race modes, and as you can see here now, we're picking up stuff off the road as well. So this is a C4 explosive. Bye! Yeah, this game has some physics funniness to it that's a lot of fun. So you can do that. You will also have, so you'll see here in some modes there are also vehicles, like enemy cars. They do take more to kill than a bike does, and obviously you have to use either a gun or explosives with those. You cannot kill a vehicle with your pipe, or maybe you can actually, and I just haven't pulled it off. I'm not sure. But you sort of get the idea here, and you see some enemies have these little symbols over them. Some of them will give bonus nitro, some of them will give bonus health, some of them will give bonus cash. You also saw the guy with the peace symbol over his head there, so that is actually a friendly unit. You do get allies in this game, which is really cool. Now, if you kill them... So that guy gave me bonus nitro. If you kill enemies, your guy kind of gives you crap for it. I don't think there's any direct penalty. I don't believe I've lost money or health from doing it, though I may be wrong about that. There may be a more obvious penalty that I missed. I'm honestly not 100% sure, so don't take my word on that. But you actually do have allies, and sometimes you'll have a map where there's multiple enemy factions that are just fighting each other. Which is a really cool thing. It's not everyone in the world against you, which I appreciate. I like games that do that, where it's not just, oh, everyone in the world hates you and every single person you encounter is going to fight you. No, sometimes it's definitely much more, it's a little more nuanced and varied than that, and I do really, really appreciate how it does that. Now, you've seen me do some weird slip and sliding action around here. Oh, God. See ya. And yes, while there is a lot of physics fun in this, I will say that one of my chief complaints about this is that the controls are very slippery and very sloppy. They are very responsive, which is nice. You don't feel like you have to, you don't feel like you're playing Hang On or something where you've got to really lean into a turn and sort of preload your turn. Your bike does turn very quick, but as you can see there, things get very squirrely very quickly. Sometimes I do find the bike doesn't turn as much as I would like it to unless I lean on the brakes, and you've seen there in the past as well that sometimes you can hit like a... Well, you see there I hit a car kind of head on. Oops, sorry, bro. Didn't mean to do that.
What you doing? That's your fellow Jack.
And as you see, you can blow up cops because, you know, that they don't matter in this world. So you see there I ran into a car and it counted as a close call, even though that probably would have killed me in real life. I've also had situations where a turn is not executed right and I've sort of gotten stuck against a post or whatnot, and backing your bike up is actually kind of a pain in the butt sometimes. Cops don't like helmets in this world either. You notice that? Safety first, man. See what happens when you don't wear your helmet? And I've had that problem too, which has kind of been a real frustration, is sometimes I get caught against an object and I'm like, back up, come on! And that's been really annoying. The combat controls can be a little bit better too, so I have a gun here. You can fire either with the right bumper, which is not brilliant, when you have to use the right trigger to control the bike. You can use the face buttons as well. But what you do, right, is you're changing your steering with the left stick. Oh, bollocks. And you're controlling your steering with the left stick, and then you're also controlling your sort of aiming reticle with the right stick. And it's not, it feels very clumsy and very, it just doesn't feel, it doesn't feel great. All right, here we go. So this is don't let the targets escape again. Now, one thing I want to check here, I don't know if you can actually remap your controls, your controller. You can! Oh, wait, no, controller view only. Never mind. Okay. I don't know what it is with so many games that allow you to remap keys but not remap controller buttons. There must be some technical reason I don't understand, but it really feels like that's something that should be easy to do. So, yeah, gun combat in particular, I don't find all that brilliant because, especially in the later levels where things get really hectic and you're trying to control your bike, having to try to, you know, finagle the aiming reticle at the same time and aim is I don't necessarily know how they could have done it better, but to me it feels a little imprecise and clumsy. It's just not, I feel like they could have done better. Now, you can carry multiple guns and multiple explosives at the same time as well, of course. So, okay, we kicked ass on that one. So, everything is done into categories. So, each of the four D-pad buttons is either guns, blunt, melee, sharp melee, or guns. And you can carry around multiple objects for each type, and if you have them, so you see here what I'm doing with the blunt objects, you can just switch between them by tapping the same D-pad button again. So that's nice that you have a little bit of variety. So, see, I have the sticky explosives here. I also have this, which is dynamite that you can use almost like a timed mine, which I think is kind of cool. It's actually pretty hard to use that. I've had a rough time. I've had a rough time of that. All right, let's just... So you see here the enemies are starting to use guns. Yes, in later levels the enemies do use guns. They also use explosives. They will use basically everything that you can use against them. And you've got to try to take them out while also trying to avoid them. And that makes things suddenly way more interesting. Especially when you're like this and you're low on... There we go. And you're low on nitro and you might not necessarily be able to get away from one very easily. So there's a lot to balance when you're playing this. Despite the finicky controls and the fact that things are a little mushier, or not mushier, but that things are a little slipperier than I'd like, and that the gun combat could be better, I still have a ton of fun with this. You're spinning a lot of plates at once, and I like that challenge. It gets very, very hectic, and yeah, this game is brutal. The later levels, especially in the third gang territory that I've gotten to, holy crap, man, this game will kick the living crap out of you. There's weird later environments where you're racing on rooftops, and where there's weird weather conditions going on that make the roads slippery and things like that. They really mix stuff up. Definitely a lot more, because Road Rash very much played like a... Saying it played like a real world thing is a really weird thing to say, but that's kind of what it was. It didn't have, like, this game doesn't really take itself seriously. This game has crazy environments, crazy physics. You know, you're dealing with biker gangs. Like, the gang leader of the final gang is basically a cyborg. You know, stuff like that. It's goofy and doesn't take itself seriously at all, whereas Road Rash kind of did. And Road Rash presented itself as, you know, if you were racing real-world motorcycles in this combat way, this is how you do it. This is, you know, you can attach C4 to a guy's bike and then have him and 7 other guys fly into the air all at once, and, you know, and every bike has nitro on it, and you get nitro back from killing guys. Like, this one is, this doesn't even attempt to have the slightest pretension of realism, which I enjoy very much. You know, as presentation-wise, it looks okay. I'm not sure if this game was done in Unity. It probably was. It kind of looks it. It runs fine. But graphically, it's definitely no stellar powerhouse. It's fine, but it's nothing mind-blowing. Oh, we got up to him. Oh yeah, here we go. It's definitely nothing mind-blowing in the visuals department. The music as well is all fairly generic, royalty-free sounding butt rock, which, don't get me wrong, I actually think that's kind of good, because I think that music fits this kind of game very well. There actually is a warning that to YouTubers and Twitch streamers at the beginning that you might get copyright struck for using some of this stuff, because royalty-free music sites are notorious for that. This video probably will get copyright claimed, but, you know, whatever. So, I mean, the music's generic, but very fitting. The graphics are not amazing, but they're also okay in the sense that, like, I mean, they go by really fast, right? I mean, this is not exactly something. To be honest with you, if you're pausing to stare at the scenery in this game, you're kind of doing it wrong, and you're not going to get very far. Hey, brah. Hey, brah. So this is the boss guy here that I have to take out to leave this area. So one explosive is not going to take him out, but you see, it hurt him real bad there. Oh, am I out of explosives again? I am. Okay. Well. Hang on, I got you. Oh, you little bugger. Come here. Ooh. You're a touchy fool, ain't you?
Oh, you gotta get it now!
And you see, the voice acting's pretty bad, but it's pretty bad in that intentionally comic fashion. And I don't mind that. I mean, like I said, this game's story is threadbare intentionally. That is not what you're here for. You're here. Oh, God. Whoa, let's. So, also later in the game, you get things like jump jets and other crazy items that allow you to bounce off of, to bounce into the air and do all these other wackadoo things. That this game's goofy as hell, but in a pretty great way. So you see here, so obviously the enemies are swinging back at you, so you've got to be careful and really time your swings to make sure that you hit him, but he doesn't hit you. You can also kick guys, as you can see there, and you can cause crashes as a result of that, so you don't necessarily have to hit a guy with direct melee. You can, you know, become a, you can just cause crashes, you can cause him to run into other guys. There we go, I got him. Yes! Alright, so here we go. We're going to go on to the next area so I can buy something else. Nitro gain plus 20%. Let's upgrade my automatic weapons, and let's spend some stuff on nitro. So now we're in Sigma territory. See, this rooftop shortcut will get you closer to the assassin and the bounties. This is beat the clock. But as you can see, this is a time trial. And I'm driving on rooftops that have road signs because reasons. Exactly. That, like I said, this game story is not what it's here for. And as you can see, I now have jump jets. So I'm doing those by pressing the left bumper. If you're going to make a jump over a rooftop and you can't quite make it, you give yourself a little tap on that, and you can keep yourself airborne. This is ridiculous, but this is just a hoot. Like, this is so much fun, and I have been having a lot of fun with this. This game is straight up mechanical bliss. It's not realistic. It has no pretensions of realism. The story's dumb and threadbare, and it doesn't matter. This game is all about just driving fast, picking up weapons, killing fools, you know, and trying to get to the end. And it will challenge you. You know, I got through this section by the skin of my teeth when I played this for research this afternoon, and as soon as I got to the third area, I was dead in about 30 seconds. You've got to be very careful with how you manage your upgrades. You've got to be very cognizant of the differences of the different kinds of enemies. You've got to understand what enemies with different types of weapons will do and how to avoid them. And there's a lot to manage, and given the how fast this game moves, as you can see, its sense of speed is actually pretty decent, which is another reason that I don't think the sort of basic graphics matter that much, because it's all going by so quick. Oh, balls. See ya. We're making good pace here anyway, but yeah, so overall, I've really been enjoying this. It has very much the DNA of Road Rash in it, but they've put their own spin on it by making it a roguelite, by expanding the weapon set, by expanding what you can do and how you can go about it, by giving you elements of permanent progression, by giving you all of these different things together that make it feel like Road Rash but modernized, by making it feel like they took a lot of popular mechanics today that do fit the theme of the game, that do fit this type of gameplay mechanic well, and they fused it all together in a really cool, interesting way.
Well done. Keep up this pace and you'll be
That
back
I
home
think
with a
is
family
a lot of fun and pretty rewarding. Like I said, there is a multiplayer mode in it. Don't waste your time. The multiplayer is just it's just a long map where you're basically racing to the end against other people. I managed to get into one match with a couple of people. It's not very fun. Like I said, I kind of wish they just left that out and focus more on campaign variety and maybe better production values, because multiplayer in games like this, they never do well. They never have populations beyond the first couple of days. I don't know why they bothered with that, but overall, yeah, I think this is a good spiritual successor to Road Rash. Yeah, it could look a little better. Yeah, it could, they could have polished up a few things a little bit more, but for a Kickstarted endeavor, it knew what it was trying to be and what it endeavored to be, and I think it did it really well. Road Rash is a game that is beloved and really at its core very simple, and it's one of those strange things where we all know why EA is never going to make something like that ever again, but it was always one of those things where for years, a lot of people, myself included, said, why doesn't some indie make this? Because this feels like something a talented indie team could take and just make amazing. And it took forever for it to happen, and, we also got crap like Road Rage out of it, which is just absolutely, offensively terrible. But this is really good, and what they chose to do is really awesome. I'd love to see them get a chance to make a sequel that does have a bit better production value, multi-kill, and that does have, a little more variety in its mission structure and, a little bit more persistence like that. But it's pretty awesome. Now, the only thing I do want to show you here is I do want to show you the sort of permanent progression, which I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that because I'm actually playing a little bit too well here, and I have to die in order to make this happen. So this might be a bit of a trick here. Maybe I'll just do this and blow myself up a few times. See, I'm not even taking that much damage from blowing myself up, which is a little bit strange. But basically, the way this works is like a lot of roguelites. There is a skill tree that you earn. You may have seen there when we've been doing missions that I've been earning XP, and that XP is what you use in between rounds in order to level yourself up. I don't think I can. So you see, there's XP there in the upper left corner. I think if I quit, I'm going to lose everything. So I don't think I can do that. So I tell you what I'm going to do here is I'm going to see how far I can get in this run, and then once this run is complete, I'll show you guys what the progression looks like. All right, hang tight. We'll be back soon. Okay, well, that only took about 30 seconds, so there you go. So, yes, the game ended, and as you can see here, it gives you some statistics on what you did. And here we go. This is the permanent upgrade skill tree. So this is where you get to spend your XP on things that carry over between runs. And obviously, like a lot of roguelikes, as you level this up and it gets better and better, future runs will get easier, and then eventually you will probably be able to tear through this thing with relative ease. And you can get a kickstart if you want. So I see I've unlocked the option to start at level 3, then there's 6 and 9, so you can sort of push yourself forward. But as you can see, it goes all the way up here to start with C4, get a whole bunch more money, get 35% nitro after every mission. This allows you to unlock a new bike, so I think I'm going to do that. Mr. Nitro drops +4. You see maximum ammo. See, there are all these little things like XP gain, so I'm going to get that in the future. So you see, I've spent all those things now. But as you go through here, you level one thing up. They have multiple tiers each, and then they unlock the next one, and so on and so forth. It's a pretty standard skill tree, right? But as you can see, you get a lot of interesting stuff, like this one, start with jump jets, start with upgraded weapons. It's just stuff that makes you better and better, and the further along you get, the bigger, the easier the game will get, and then eventually you'll be able to sail through to the end. So it gives you that nice little bit of permanent progression, and makes it feel like you're accomplishing something every time you do a run, whether you succeed or fail, which I very much appreciate. So, yeah, I've been enjoying this an awful lot. The production values, like I said, could be a little bit better, yes, but overall, I have really been liking this. Where's that guy? Yeah, Halloween Rider. This guy's hilarious. And there's a lot more weapons that I haven't actually shown you in my test runs so far. There's a decent amount of variety. There's like a grappling hook you can use in this to do some interesting stuff.
Shit. Looks like you're riding into the Reaper's territory.
So you see this guy.
Genghis Khan look like a vegan, so watch your back.
Make Genghis Khan look like a vegan. So you see here, this guy's taking permanent damage because he's like possessed or something. But he also has a permanent critical attack. So you see, it's that push-pull, right? Every character has advantages and disadvantages. So, and there's a lot of replayability here because once you beat it once, obviously the levels are randomly generated, and you're encouraged to go through it with different bikes and different riders to play it in different ways, which I very much like. So there is a lot of replay to be had here. Again, do not buy this for the multiplayer. I don't even know why it's in here. Playing this multiplayer in like co-op in the campaign, I think would actually be pretty rad. I think that could be a lot of fun, and I'd be very curious to see how that plays. But yeah, this is the closest thing that we're going to get to our spiritual successor to Road Rash, and what they added to the formula, I think, is very much to its benefit. Bro! Oh my god. Also, I don't know who the heck Ian Fish is, but you know. Yeah, this is a ton of fun, and I've been having a pretty good time with it, and especially after the incredible sour taste that Road Rage left in my mouth, I think this is very good indeed. So if you liked Road Rash, if you like roguelikes, and if you want to play one or more of those and play a very unique spin on the roguelike formula, no pun intended, then I think you could do pretty well by this. So that is Road Redemption, developed and published by Pixel Dash Studios and EQ Games in 2017 for the PC. It is approximately $20 US at normal price, and I recommend it wholeheartedly. As a fan of roguelikes and of Road Rash, this is a nice fusion of both. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you liked what you saw here, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. That does help me out a great deal. If you want to watch something else, check out the videos on screen now, and don't forget to follow @PXA Media on Twitter to find out about new stuff first.